Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another episode of the Random Select Podcast. I am your host, Mario, and you could find me out there in those digital streets, everybody. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all those places where you choose to get a podcast. So if you can't find me, then you're just not looking for me. If you can't find me, that means you just don't fuck with me. Or if you can't find me, I'm just gonna assume that when you were younger, you caught the short bus to school. I know that may be politically incorrect, but nevertheless it is correct, because if you can't find me, then that is a you issue. I've strategically placed myself in these particular platforms and these social media places so you can find me. I ain't did nothing special. I just did what everybody else do. So if you can't find me, like I said, you just choose not to fuck with me, but that's okay. But if you choose not to mess with me, go ahead and share it, cause my podcast definitely is not for everybody. But just because it's not for you doesn't mean it's not for somebody else. So share it, cause you just never know who life you could be impacting, and you just never know who could use a new best friend in the form of your boy Mario. Alright, so with that being said, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate another episode of the Random Select. In this episode, I just kind of want to talk about some of the things that we've been taught in our life, that we know, that we figure we know to be true, and that was taught to us by our parents or by our people before us, and gave us a base, a foundation for what we believe in and what we went out to spread to our kids or put out into the world as what we know to be true. And I want to call bullshit on some of that stuff. I want to say, hey, look, when you sit back and re-examine and look at some of these things, maybe that particular thing or line of thought or philosophy was not true. So that's what I want to do in this podcast. I'm not going to hold you guys long, because I know a bunch of y'all have short attention spans. I know a bunch of y'all went undiagnosed with ADD, ADHD, and all of that stuff. So I'm going to make sure I cater to you guys. Thank you. There's no knock on you guys. Sometimes we got to stop looking at things as people knocking things or people trying to be crass or a certain way. Sometimes the truth is the truth, and we just hate to admit what the truth be sometimes. And it's okay. It is quite all right. So, all right, let's get into it. So, one of the things I really got a big problem with is how we have been taught about failure, right? We've been taught, and we probably spread to our kids, that failure is only supposed to be looked at on a big scale, right? We talk about how maybe you failed to get the job, how you failed yourself, how you didn't go to school, how you failed yourself, you're living in a bad neighborhood, or you can't elevate yourself, or we look at failure on that type of scale. We look at rejection on that type of scale, because nobody likes rejection. It's not the fact that people like rejection. It's not the fact that people can't stand rejection. It's the fact that we can't stand the fact that when somebody else rejects us. Because I'm going to get into it, because when you look at rejection is one of them things where you fail yourself more times than anybody you've ever known in your life to fail you. You've rejected yourself more times than anybody you've known in your life that has rejected you. But we don't look at it like that, because it's self-inflicted. And we tend to look at things that are self-inflicted as, charge you to the game, that's par for the course, that's run of the mill. But failure is failure. Rejection is rejection, but we don't look at it like that. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. Let me break it down, and let me help you understand what I truly mean when I say things like that. So we got this big thing going on where a lot of people say that I could live with a lot of things, but I can't stand no liar. I can't stand when people lie to me. Which is understandable, which is good, in a sense. But when you look at that statement right there, the question is, do you hold yourself accountable to lying to yourself, right? Because we will not suffer people lying to us lightly, right? But we will deal with ourselves lying to us day in, day out, on a day-to-day basis for the entirety of your life. And a lot of us never do anything about it, but we keep doing it, right? And sometimes people will call those visions of grandeur, delusional visions of grandeur, depending on the type of things you're telling yourself, the type of lies you're telling yourself, or the type of times that you failed yourself, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. And you say, Mario, break it down even further. Give us an example of what do you mean? Example, you say? Well, here comes an example. And I'm going to keep it in the simplest form I can, right? Well, let's just say weight loss. And I know that's a very sensitive issue for a lot of people. And at this particular point, I'm not talking about you. I'm giving you facts, and I'm giving you examples of how we just take certain things and we only spin it a certain way. We only want to see it a certain way. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at the big picture of it all, look at it all as a whole, you'll understand that you have failed yourself more times than anybody in your life has failed you. And you have definitely lied to yourself more times than anybody in your life has lied to you. But you say, I can't stand a person who is a liar. If you're going to be telling all them lies, get away from around me. Well, is there a way for you to make you get away from around you? Because you lied to yourself a lot, a whole lot. So, all right. So let's take weight loss for an example. So, in the first of the year when people say, oh, I'm going to do better, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to put all this energy and effort in trying to new year, new me, new mind, new body, new soul, and all of those things, right? And they already told you about the 2nd of January. It is called, I forgot what it's called, Give Up Friday, something like that, Quit Friday, or something like that, right? But we don't look at it like that, because so every time you look at it in a certain way, it comes to the fact that, listen, every time you say, I'm going to the gym, and you don't go, that's a lie to yourself. And that's the time you failed yourself, because this is things you need to do. Every time you say, oh, I'm not going to eat this, and you go ahead and eat that, that's a lie to yourself, and that's a fail of yourself. Every time you say, I'm going to stop messing with this person because I know that they don't mean me no good, all they do is make me cry, break my heart, and just take me through the ringer, and you go back and be with that person, that is a lie, and that is the time you have failed yourself. So that whole how we look at failure is a farce. How we've been taught to look at failure only on the big picture, only on the big scale of things, is something that I refute as I get older. We should be teaching our kids that self-discipline cuts failure in half, right? If you have some type of self-discipline to say, I'm going to do this, the times you fail yourself are minimum, because you said, I'm going to go out here and do this, right? And when we're lying and failing ourselves, it all comes back to we have a lack of self-discipline, right? When you can say, I don't need nobody here to make me put these donuts down. I don't need anybody here to make me go out and work out. I don't need anybody here to tell me that this guy or this girl ain't right for me. I don't need anybody here to tell me that this decision that I'm about to make right here is a bad decision, right? So when you don't do that, you fail yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to relationships and things like that, I give people a little leeway, because there are people out there who are very adept, very good at making you believe that they have your best interest in mind. They love you from head to toe and will do anything in the world for you when they absolutely won't. When it's all absolutely just a farce, when it's all absolutely just smoke and mirrors, they just try to get whatever they can get from you. And then leave you wherever they leave you. Now, in those cases right there, and you keep going back, it's because that person has, brick by brick, designed the way they treat you in order for it to come out into a favorable outcome for them. So that's the way scamming, and that's the way liars and cheaters and people like that work. So I will give people like that a leeway. But when it comes to things like your diet, when it comes to things like saying you're going back to school, when it comes to things like jobs, and when it comes to things about just your personal self, you don't realize how many times you lie to yourself and how many times you fail yourself. So I will say that, that's one of the things I refute. So so the next time you tell yourself I can't stand a liar, then you examine how you are for your life, and you'll realize that, you don't even have to go back to anything big. Just do it for today. Just do it for all the things you said you were going to do today, and just realize how much of the stuff you didn't do, you didn't accomplish. Then it just starts right there. Then once you do it for today, do it for last week, then do it for a month ago, and then from a month ago, you start going back over your life and realize all the things you said you were going to do that you never did, those are fails. And for some of y'all, you're going to realize that you got some epic ass fails in your life. You done told yourself some epic ass lies in your life. And that's something you got to just learn to recognize, understand, and deal with. So we'll leave that one right there. Another thing that as I get older, I understand that when people tell you, if you just love somebody, love will lead the way and love will conquer all. Once you get a little age on you, you understand that that is a lie. The lie detector has detected that that is a lie. Love only leads the way when two people genuinely have love for each other in their heart, and they're working together to pull in the same direction. If you love a person with all your heart, and you pulling in a direction, and this person is kind of half-assing it and not pulling in the same direction with you, and don't love you with all your heart, no matter how much love you have, it won't work. Because what happens is, when you love somebody with all your heart and you're pulling in one direction, what happens is you end up just being a fool for love. You end up just being used up and spit out. And sometimes when you love somebody that much and you putting everything you got into it, and they use you up and spit you out, it ruins you for other people. Because that love took so much out of you. That love drug you through the dirt so hard, so bad, had you doing down bad, so worse, that sometimes a lot of people don't recover from love when their heart was totally into it. And they may recover from love. But I've experienced that sometimes when you love with all your heart, and you love unconditional, and that love royally and truthfully and wholly fuck you over, you don't love the same again. You would love, right? Once upon a time, before that happened to you, you love 100%. And a lot of women and men will still love again, but it's at 90% now. And then some people don't love again, period. Especially men. Some men become, really hard broken, and really, the fence and the gate and all that stuff is put up because one woman in the beginning of their life, when they learning about love, screwed them over, fucked them over, and now they just hard to the end of time. Now that I don't agree with. I'm just merely saying that love cannot overcome everything. Because love is just a feeling and emotion when not backed up with common sense. Right? You can love something all you want, but at some point the rubber has to meet the road, because you could say, I love this guy, but this guy is always out there in them streets. He's always cheating. He never want to do anything to provide a stable foundation. He always trying to make a quick buck. And we all know from everybody who's been a hustler in their lifetime, easy come, easy go. Anything that you get easy goes easy, and later on in life you can't even remember nothing significant about fast money. We all been there, if you grew up like I grew up, Lord knows you done hustled at some point. And when I say hustle, not every hustle has to be illegal hustling. You understand what I'm saying? But most time it is. We being honest, cause see, how I told you about that lying to yourself in the last little poet? See, right there, that's lying to yourself when you say, well, it wasn't all illegal in my eyes. See, that's because you looking through things through jaded lenses, through rose-colored lenses, right? That shit was illegal. All right, so we got that out the way. So I just want to say, when it comes to love will conquer all, we know that that's not true, because it comes a time in a relationship when you giving your all and that person not, it wears you down. It wears you thin. It gets you to the point where you said, I cannot do this anymore, because I feel like I'm running uphill and toting this person on my back. And as I'm toting this person up on my back and running up this hill, it feels like they done put on a book bag with 100-pound weight in it, right? And that's totally not helping you. That's actually becoming a detriment to you. That's making your journey even harder, because somebody who loves you would rather say, hey, let me get off your back and we walk side by side, and definitely not let me put this 100-pound weight in my book bag. But some people won't mind you throwing them on their back, and then say, hey, look, I got to take some of my other stuff with me. You got it. You can carry it all. Can't you? Because why? You love me. And you don't even question it. And sometimes we don't even question it. I'm going to do it. Why? Because I love them. I'm in love. Now, with all that being said, when love is fucking good, love is fucking good, right? With all that being said, when you find the person that is pulling in the same direction as you, and y'all got an understanding, and you and that person feels like no matter what come your way, baby, I can handle it with you, you can handle it with me, and y'all and y'all can handle it together. See, but the problem with a lot of people think you're supposed to get in a relationship, y'all supposed to never have no controversy, no adversity in the relationship whatsoever. And that is unrealistic as hell. That is unrealistic. If you are with another human being, no matter how you feel about them, whether it's your cousin, your uncle, your mama, your lover, your daughter, whoever, your co-worker, at some point y'all gonna hit a crossroad where y'all gonna have a disagreement that's gonna be more than a disagreement. It's gonna turn into an argument, right? But here's the difference. We can have an argument. You can say what you have to say. I can say what I have to say. Or either we could come together and say, okay, I see it your way. Let's come to some type of mutual agreement, and then we can move on. But in certain situations, people feel that they have to be right. Sometimes in an argument, two people could be wrong. Y'all both could be arguing. Y'all both could be wrong. Y'all both could be arguing. Y'all both could be right. But y'all got to find some type of mutual ground where you say, okay, tell you what, you're not going to agree with my point. I'm not going to agree with your point. But let's find something we do agree on, and we could put this to bed. And then sometimes y'all have to get to a point where y'all can say, let's just agree to disagree. Not every time y'all get into an argument, somebody has to win. Because if you walk around thinking you have to win all the time, eventually there's going to be some decay in your relationship, because you care about winning over having sanctity and peace in your relationship. So like I said, love cannot conquer all. But when love is good, boy, it be good. Okay, all right, I'm gonna leave that right there. All right, one more thing that I've learned that over time, that people tell you, well, everybody in this world needs somebody. Nobody wants to be alone. There's somebody out there for everybody. And as you get older, you start to dispute that because what's not being taken into account of how I feel. I might not feel like I want to be with anybody after you've been through so much bullshit, been through the rigmarole, and understand what it takes to be in a relationship, understand what it takes, the sacrifices that needs to be made to be in a relationship. Sometimes people get wore out on that shit. If a woman been with a couple men, and I ain't talking about no promiscuous shit, I'm talking about in real full-fledged legitimate relationships, and time after time she get cheated or keep getting cheated on. Person done had babies outside their relationship, outside of their marriage, don't want to keep a job, and she's doing nothing wrong. And these ain't the same men, these are different men. And after a while she gets to a point where she say, you know what, I'm good on that, right? And that's the same thing could be said for a man. After you get so many women playing games out there, all the stuff you have to do as a man. If you're not willing to make those sacrifices, be that provider or be that person where everybody's looking to solve the problem. If you the type of person that just said, hey, look, I would like somebody to pull in the same direction as me, and you can't find a woman to do that, sometimes it's okay to be alone. You don't always have to have nobody. And sometimes, regardless of all those situations and scenarios I just said, sometimes a person's personal preference is, I just want to be with me. And as I get older, I understand that. There's nothing wrong with that. As I get older, I understand sometimes you just want to be with you. I done been through all the bullshit. I done been through all the rigmarole. I done seen this game, that game, this game. I done heard about this. I done seen this type of woman. I done had them from 80 to 80. As they say, blind, crippled, and crazy. As Life like to say in his songs, I done stole everything from dreams to wedding rings. I done it all. And it all boils down to, it's been there, done that, and now I just want to chill. I just want to be with me. I just want to see what my life can be like if for once in my life I put all my eggs in one basket, and that basket is my basket, and focus on me. And don't let nobody make you feel like it's a crime for focusing on you. Don't let nobody make it feel like a crime, make you feel like it's a crime because you just said, I want to see what could I accomplish if for once in my life I put it all on me. I pushed all my chips into the middle of the table and I bet on black. I'll put it all on black, and black is me, baby. Put it all on me. And I understand that. So we've been told from our uncles, our aunties, our mamas, our grandmama, baby, everybody needs somebody, baby. When you gonna find you a man? When you gonna get you a woman? Grandma, with all due respect, times have changed. I don't want me no woman, Grandma. I am good by myself. You know what? Ever since I stopped trying to be in a relationship. Now, I ain't saying nothing about every so often you hook up with somebody and then, you blow her back out. I ain't saying that. Because you're human. You're going to have needs. And you're going to, there's physical things that need to be, checked off or accomplished every so often. But being physical with someone and being in a relationship with someone is two different things. But I've even come to the point as I get older is think about this really long and hard before you decide to be physical with them. Because sometimes with physicality comes other things. And are you prepared to deal with the other things? Are you prepared to deal with maybe this woman got some kids that you got to deal with? Are you prepared with this the woman who always needs something? Are you prepared to have to go over there maybe, change out that damn smoke detector thing because it keep boop every time you talk to her on the phone, even though the past 5 dudes before you never decided to go over there and fix it, but because you're a good guy. Who's a good guy? You're a good guy. Who's a good guy? I'm a good guy. Because you're a good guy, you decide to go over there and fix it. Change that battery out, right? So the problem with a lot of this is we got to get to the point and start saying, how do you feel about a relationship? How do you feel about things? How do you feel about what's really going on inside of your life? That's why a lot of y'all get into relationships when you ask yourself, I supposedly got everything. I got the boyfriend. We got the marriage. We got the house. We done had a couple kids. And how come I still feel empty? How come I still feel not right? Because you did that because this is what society and maybe your family has told you, and this is something that you never wanted for yourself. We live whole entire lives, 60, 70, 80 years, and let other people dictate that life. And I'm no different. I've lived my life always wondering, when my mama would say stuff, how my mama would look at things, how my mama would feel. My mama might be looking down on me saying whatever. But I came to the conclusion when I turned 50 that I was not doing that anymore. I'm living what makes me feel right. As they say, living my best life. A lot of y'all just say that shit. But a lot of y'all don't actually do that shit. A lot of y'all don't live your best life. And you got to get to that point where no matter how much life you got left, right? You get out there and you do that damn thing to the fullest. You go out there, you live your life till God call you home. And then when God call you home, you can turn around and say with confidence, okay, God, I'm truly ready. Because a lot of us, if God called home right now, you ain't really ready because you ain't really did what you wanted to do. You spent your life doing things for other people. You spent your life not on that plane of existence that you would want to be. And a lot of us are running around unhappy as hell. We got houses, cars, clothes, good jobs, you got children, but you still feel like there's a big ass gap in your existence, big ass gap in your soul, big ass gap in your essence. And that gap is because you wasn't like Frank Sinatra. You didn't do it your way. You understand? And sometimes when you don't do it your way, your soul has a way of nagging at you. It'd be all in your dreams. When you go to sleep, you're dreaming about things that you want to do. You could see things that should have been in your future. But then when you wake up, you suppress it all like it never happened. Don't talk to anybody about it. And you go on living that life that other people said, wow, she must be happy. But you're not. And here's the thing, you can get everything that everybody said that you should have, and they'll still find a way to talk about your ass. So you might as well do it your way. You feel me? Alright, y'all, I'm gonna leave that right there. I just wanted to put out a few things that as I get older, I understood to be not true as the way we were taught about it. It's a lot more things I could go into, but like I said, I just wanted to keep it real nice and simple for the people that went undiagnosed with ADHD and ADD, and just put some truths out there to help make y'all think. Cause this is Random Select, the podcast that's all about thought-provoking talk. I know I say a lot of things that people think in their head, but they say it's politically incorrect to say and taboo to say, but I say it anyway because sometimes it's not the words that are floating around in your head. Sometimes you need to know that there's actually somebody else out there who feel the way you feel, so you could dump that am I peculiar, am I weird, am I a freak because I think like this. You're not alone. It's just that some things you have to ask yourself. If it keeps nagging at your soul and it keeps going at your spirit, you have to answer sometimes. Now, when you answer sometimes, it's going to be a wrong call, and you say, oh, okay, I did that. Maybe I got that signal wrong, or it was a wrong call. But sometimes when you answer, it's Egg McMahon on the other end of that thing telling you just won Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Your life is about to change, baby. You about to feel a way, a euphoric way that you've never felt in your life, all because you're doing what your soul is begging for. You're doing what your soul is asking you to do. And that's the whole purpose of life, is to find that one lane that makes you happy. All right? So with that being said, y'all, I'm going to say thank you for tuning in and hanging out with your boy in the Random Select podcast, baby. It is the thought-provoking podcast. It's not your mama and daddy podcast, baby. This type of thing that lets you know podcasts can be off the chain. And hey, I make you think in a way that you probably wasn't thinking. So welcome in. If you're just new here, welcome to your new best friend. Welcome to your new homeboy. It's Mario. So with that being said, I'm going to talk to you guys the next time. I'm going to be out. I love you guys. Tune back in. Hit me up in them digital streets. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know what you're thinking on the next podcast. I'll shout you guys out. So with that being said, Mario is out.
Mario!
Glad you could make it!
You can clap now.